video blog episode, which also happens to be our Halloween episode since Halloween is just right around the corner. And today we'll be making healthy, yes, healthy Halloween pumpkin muffins, which should definitely be a treat and not a trick. As usual, all of today's ingredients can be found at Trader Joe's. A lot of today's ingredients contain high fiber content, which is perfect for a muffin recipe since fiber is good at slowing down the rate of absorption of sugar in the bloodstream. So that'll be a good combination with the sugar in our recipe. So let's get started, shall we? Make sure your oven is set to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Also make sure that your oven rack is in the middle of the oven. First, you're going to need 1 can of pumpkin puree, and make sure it's the pure pumpkin without any spices in it, because we're going to be adding our own spices to it later. So first, you're going to be pouring that in. By the way, pumpkin is very high in fiber, like I said earlier. Also has high vitamin C content, which is good for fighting diseases, and it has carotenoids in it. And carotenoids give pumpkin its beautiful orange color. Next, you're going to need 2 large eggs. And what you're going to do is after you crack them, you're going to lightly beat them like so. Then just pour it in with the pumpkin. Next, you're going to need half a cup of Greek yogurt, or Greek-style yogurt. And Greek yogurt is great because it has a lot more protein and fewer carbs than regular yogurt. And the best part is it's a lot creamier, a lot thicker. So you're going to go ahead and add your half cup of yogurt. I also chose to get the yogurt with the honey added to it. I thought the honey would add some good flavor to the muffins. Next, what you will need is 3/4 of a cup of applesauce. I went to Trader Joe's and got the pre-packaged applesauce. Used 2 containers, and it was about 3/4 of a cup, so I used that. So you can go ahead and pour that in. And actually, the original recipe called for canola oil, but canola oil actually comes from rape seeds. I don't know if you're familiar with that. You can probably tell by its name that's not good for you, but basically rapeseed is used in insect repellent and a lot of processed foods. So I thought, you know what, applesauce would be a better substitute. It's also a lot healthier for you with its high fiber content and higher antioxidant content. Once you have this all mixed together, you're going to have what we call our wet ingredients, which we're going to add to our dry ingredients mixture, which is going to have flour and salt and other ingredients. So for our dry ingredients, you're going to want to get out a larger bowl because you're going to eventually combine it with the wet ingredients that we just made. So you're going to want a nice big bowl. What you're going to need is 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have any whole wheat flour around. I had just this regular all-purpose white flour around, and I just had it on hand, so I'm just going to use that for today. But Trader Joe's does sell whole wheat flour, and I would definitely get that if you'd like that added health bonus. Next, you'll need 3/4 of a cup of natural bran, which is high in fiber and iron. And well, this is the one ingredient I couldn't find at Trader Joe's, but luckily they had a bran flake cereal, which is definitely a great substitute. All you have to do is get the flakes, put them in the blender so it crunches them up into fine little pieces, and then you just pour it in. Next, you're going to need 1½ teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. Now, if you don't have pumpkin pie spice, that's alright. You can use ground cinnamon. It's basically the same thing, but the pumpkin pie spice has a few more spices in it just to have the perfect combination for pumpkin flavor. But if you don't want to buy this at Trader Joe's, you can just use cinnamon if you have that around. For our final dry ingredients, you'll need 3/4 of a cup of regular white sugar, regular white granulated sugar, same thing. Also 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. Once you have all the dry ingredients combined, we're going to add our wet ingredients from earlier. And basically what we're going to do here is we're just going to mix it, but we're not going to overmix it, because if you overmix it, it's going to make your muffins very tough once you bake them, and the texture is just not going to be soft and fluffy like your typical muffins would be. Now, before we get to the fun part, we first need to get our muffin tin. I got one for regular sized muffins, fits 12 a dozen. And what you're going to do is you're going to spray it with olive oil. I got this olive oil spray at Trader Joe's. It doesn't affect the flavor of the muffins, which is good, and it helps the muffins slide out very easily once they come out. It's also a good substitute for butter. Usually people will rub butter on the inside of the tin, and butter is always not the best thing to use, so I'm using olive oil. The other alternative would be to use paper cupcake liners. For the fun part, we're going to take our mixture that we just made and we're going to pour it into the muffin tin. Now, the best way to do it would probably be to get a spoon and just put it in. 2 spoonfuls is usually enough, but if you want to judge it by looking at it, you would want to fill it up about 3/4 high, and that way it gives it enough room to rise while it's in the oven. Now, if you thought that was fun, this is even more fun. We're going to be making the topping for our muffins. What I did was I took some California walnut baking pieces from Trader Joe's, and I took 1 cup of those and combined it with 1/8 of a cup of brown sugar. So that's going to give a really nice crunchy texture with a little bit of added sweetness to it. Now you're going to take it and you're going to sprinkle it on top however you'd like. You can put as little as you want, as much as you want. Doesn't really matter. It's all your choice. Now, after you have your topping on here, you're going to bake these for 18 to 20 minutes. Now, I know what you're thinking. 18 to 20 minutes isn't supposed to be a quick recipe, right? Well, muffin recipes usually take a lot longer. This one's actually pretty quick. And with those 18 to 20 minutes, you could do a lot of things. You could do your homework, you could check your email, whatever you like. I decided to take a little checkup of my muffins. It's been about 8 minutes, and they're already starting to fluff up. After it has been 18 to 20 minutes, you can take your muffins out. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to test and make sure that they're done. And for this test, you get a toothpick, and you can test it on any of the muffins, and all you do is stick it through. And when it comes out, it should be clean and not have any part of the muffin on it. This one seems to be pretty good. Once you've given your muffin some time to cool a little in the tin, all you do is get a butter knife. You go around the edges of the muffin just to loosen it up a bit. Then all you have to do is simply lift it up. It comes out very nicely thanks to the olive oil. And you put on your rack, let it cool. Then they're ready to serve and enjoy. Now these are great in the morning for on-the-go breakfast. If you have an 8 a.m. class, you can just bring it on the way. They're also a very nice pick-me-up in the afternoon. So I hope you enjoyed this treat, and I hope to see you soon. And remember, at WikiKitchen, it's Mission Nutrition.